of illegal foreigners. We will mass deport them. We will close businesses that hires illegal foreigners. We have no time. We don't want them here. We want them out of this country because our people don't get jobs. We're sitting in a country where 60% youth unemployment. 60% youth unemployment. And you tell me, we still want to give Zimbabweans a job. It's going to end. I'm saying to you, 2024, something is going to happen here. And that something is the Patriotic Alliance. And we will not take money. We will not be bribed. We will not change our stance. They are going home. I want to say this. I'm going to say it. Foreigners that are legally here. You can't be legally here and be a nurse, man. And then nurses are sitting in Soweto, in El Rado Park, and they don't have jobs. But because our women don't give birth on a bed in Rahima Musa. They give birth on a bunker or sitting on the floor while a foreigner is chilling. I was saying if I was the leader during COVID, when people in El Rado Park couldn't access oxygen, and foreigners are getting oxygen there in the hospital, I would have taken that pipe out and put a South African. A country should have no conscience. A country that should not have no conscience. A country should look after its citizens first. Then the conscience should kick in. If there's a fire, if there's war here, Americans are not going to take Zimbabwean or they're only going to take Americans. Why can't we prioritize South Africans? They come here, give birth here while our women on the ground, not under the watch of the Patriotic Alliance.
Captain Mackenzie.
Because you don't know jail. I'm speaking as a person that spent my whole youth in jail. I'm not going to sit in South Africa and hear young people are being given instructions on the 30th to hurt illegal foreigners. That one, it shall never happen for as long as I'm alive. We've got a government, there's a law enforcement. If you want to remove illegal foreigners, do it by yourself. Bring your own children so that the cops will deal with you. Our matter is on the table. So I want to be clear. The government is removing illegal foreigners. The government has listened to us. Let us allow the government to do their job.
Yo, what's good, everyone? Hope everyone is A-okay, on this fine, let me double check, on this fine Tuesday. Yeah, man, how's everybody, man? Again, okay, before we even get away, people, please like, subscribe, comment, share your views. Even if you disagree, it's okay. No one is gonna judge you. It's fine. You can judge us as well. Just be a little bit kinder. You can be harsh, but not too harsh. You know what I mean? Just humanly harsh. If there's such a thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're back at it again. With another episode. Hope everyone is well. I got my boy Venus. I got Spani. I got Kondelele Masega. I hope I said it perfectly, man. I'm trying, yeah. So yeah, man. So how is everyone doing, man? On this fine Tuesday?
Yeah, man. I'm good. I was just laughing there. Jason.
Yeah, that's the new intro right now. I'm going to alternate between him and Ramaphosa. Tomorrow I'm playing Ramaphosa, and then the following day I'm going to play Julius, and so on and so on and so on. I just want to show the hypocrisy of these people, bro. But yeah, man. It's Venus Day. Okay, Spani live.
Yeah, what's up, bro? Hey, bro. I think it's time to expose these frauds for who they are. They say this, and then the next thing they say another thing just to get votes. So, yeah, exactly. This guy, Captain Mackenzie, is a fraud, and we know it is a criminal. We know this.
Straight to the point. Okay, so I'm very concerned, guys. when I was browsing on my, hey man, it sounds so bad, but I want to say when I was browsing on my X, you see, it doesn't sound right if you say it like that, but I was browsing on X, and it's my X. So I was browsing on my X. So what does that mean? So you see these things are Elon Musk changing names and whatnot. But okay, fine. Twitter. So I was browsing on Twitter and I was seeing, Newsroom Africa, ENCA, SAPC News. I saw this yesterday. Guys, apparently the acting police minister has came out and threatened people, man. Saying that these people are going to be dealt with this way or the other. Apparently, there's like 600 million set aside, to, I guess, I don't know what they're doing because I don't want to use their words, but in my words, I would say they are going against the South African people, using our law enforcement, that is supposed to protect us, but now apparently they're going to be used to protect illegal immigrants. So they're planning for the June 30th. They're bringing out people to speak against all of this. You know what I mean? And they're bringing out stories that never happened. I've watched all the news platforms of this country, and I haven't seen one single video of anyone that was hurt, killed, beaten up during these marches. But somehow,
Well,
even with the thing of asking for,
Lindo, I don't know. You might want to look into this, but I think there was an incident in PMB. That's what I heard. But you might want to double check that one. I'm not sure on that one. But let me say, ne,
mm,
uh, regardless, um, so I may be wrong, right? But I think there may, be a propaganda war here. You understand?
mm,
In a very real sense. Um, because remember, as I said yesterday, the state rules. It's not just through military and the state security. They
mm,
can make threats with that, but the main thing is their legitimacy. So,
mm.
so now,
So are you saying
the-
that they've lost credibility?
no, listen
And
to
if
what I'm
so,
saying.
how much?
Listen to what I'm
Mm,
saying. The
okay.
struggle now. You remember what I said yesterday? March and
Mm,
March is taking on the state. No small
mm,
thing. Now, what is the struggle about? It is a struggle for perception. You understand?
mm,
Because now, what happens from here on out depends on who is legitimate. So
mm,
if the state secures its legitimacy in terms of the propaganda war, remember they have accused xenophobia, they have
mm,
accused Afrophobia, they have accused tribalism, they've
mm,
accused a number of things. Now they can use clips, selectively, chosen nicely and selectively to put
mm,
together a nice story or a nice narrative that secures their legitimacy and delegitimizes the movement. Do you see what's going on? It's that tight. Remember, there's a lot at stake here. You understand?
mm,
It's no small thing. So the state has a lot at its disposal to crash this movement. Now, what the movement needs to do, and I'm glad I saw a video of the March and March leader before I just came on here, where she was talking about why the issue is being made March and March instead of the conversation on the table, which is illegal immigration, as you said. But I think you must take it beyond that. If you really wanna go for the checkmate move, you gotta take the conversation beyond that. Make the conversation about state legitimacy, because in there it includes the law, the constitution. So now, once you play that move, that is almost a checkmate move. You understand?
Mm.
So now you take the law and you make it the center. You understand? For all of us. You see? And now you have to then look who's going to be found more wanting. I mean, in terms of legitimacy, I don't think the March and March movement has much to worry about. You know what I mean? To protect their legitimacy and the cause, you can do that well. Through your messaging and everything. You can package it nicely in order to win the propaganda war. You understand? Because that's a
Yeah,
reality.
bro.
Because now there's a lot they're gonna try and use against you. So you do it. You do that strategically. That I'm saying take it to the center, the center of gravity for all South Africans, which is the law, the constitution, the rule of law. You see that accountability. So
Mm.
you see now when you raise those questions, you have them now on the defense. you know I mean, every time I see the March and March movement, they're on defense. Why keep playing
Mm.
defense? You understand? You can put the state on the back foot. You just make the conversation about the law. Because from what I've seen, these guys, in terms of legitimacy, it's shaky at best. So if you hit them
Mm.
there, you understand what I'm saying. You're making the conversation about serious stuff. Uh, everything else you want to talk about is going to gravitate around law. Whether you say we've got immigration issues, whether you say, crime, it's the law again, state security, as we've been seeing in Madlanga. Once you say law, that's checkmate. You understand? And you make sure that you protect your own legitimacy and make sure you're on the right side of the law. Aye, Washai, you understand? Because now, don't make it too much about immigration. I mean, not to say you mustn't raise it, but don't make it the central focal point. Because what's Okshaya corner? Because I'm telling you, like you can play defense as much as you want on the immigration issue, or you can broaden the conversation and make the law the center of gravity. Overshy now. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically they played with people's minds, basically. You know what I mean? But then before we even dive deeper to the topic, I'd like to at least play a video first so that even our viewers as well who perhaps maybe haven't seen what the acting Minister of Police has said. I don't even know where we got to the acting part. I'm questioning now, like, who is the Minister of Police at this point? When was this guy installed? What happened to the Minister of Police? But fine,
It's
we'll
on
answer
special
those questions.
suspension.
Why? What did he do? Like, I'm
Are
I'm
we?
sorry. Some things they miss me.
Isn't this the Mkonazi issue? The reason why
Oh,
he
it's
had the press
corrupt.
conference. Yeah, well, it's allegedly.
Hey man, these people, all of them. But then, okay, fine. Let's hear this guy out and see what he has to say. As you can see, the title there, 30 June security operation to cost up to 600 million. You know how this money, bro? How many schools can they renovate with this money?
That's a university right
The
there.
government schools, bro. How many government schools, bro? You know how many schools, bro, that I see with busted windows, bro? No renovation since the 1980s, bro. The same schools that they always making movies about, Sarafina and all those things, talking about Bantu education, this, that. But those schools are still like that. To me, bruh, you can be corrupt, you can do whatever you want. But if you play around with the education, bro, of the next generation, that's the worst thing you can possibly do, bro. We are cooked. We are just trying to say a piece, and then perhaps, maybe, by luck, we achieve some change. But then,
Yes, Lindo. I
uh,
always thought, the big issue in South Africa is that, we just don't have enough resources to go around. I mean, man, I wonder
apparently
how
they
it,
have
how
600
long.
million to fight against
I
South
wonder.
Africans.
I wonder how long it took them to raise that money, man. 600 million. I mean, that's
I
not a
do have to
small
say,
amount.
though, I do have
Yeah,
to
but
say,
when we talk about water issues, they're like, hey, we don't have a budget. We're still planning with a human Minister of Human Balance, Water and Sanitation. And then when you
So
tell them there's no, well, they say when they don't have water, they go to a hotel room and buy and bathe there.
so you see
But they,
the very cold hard fact and cold reality is that where money goes, it shows you where priority is. So priority is in ensuring that they don't lose control of the state or the country, that
I
they
agree with you,
maintain
Princess.
they maintain stability at all costs, and they will put all the resources into that. uh, lama issue that you are raising, lezinto eniziraisayo, it's somewhere down the list in terms of priority.
I
But
do have to also
yeah,
add, I'm sorry there for cutting you off. I do also have to add that knowing these people, bruh, we've been around this government, you know what I mean? So I can guarantee you today, right now, right here, that out of this 600 million, whatnot, they're probably not going to explain what it's for. Because a lot of it is going in their own pockets, bruh. They just got a reason to be corrupt. And this is how shameless these guys are, bruh. With all the propaganda that they're pushing on television and whatnot and social media and all those things, still they never forget, bruh, to put some money in their own pockets, bruh.
I'm seeing the Minister of Defense there, and it's reminding me of not too long ago the generals were complaining that they are underfunded.
Bruh.
I want a budget.
Bruh,
but
even
let's
the
be honest
police
now.
themselves, bruh, they underfunded, bruh. You go there to the police station, bruh, still using documents and whatnot so that they can throw them away easily.
I mean, seriously,
technology,
like,
bruh.
do you even consider as a Minister of Defense?
What do they know about defense, these people, bruh? Come on.
Or she's just what's this thing? A picture and that's just hanging on the wall.
She's definitely a figurehead, man. She's just there. She's just there. I mean, how many ministries has she done? I mean, I think she was a basic minister of basic education or higher education, and then now she's minister of defense. That's a huge jump. Like,
so here's another thing.
And then they tell you that you need experience in this, that this many years.
Yeah,
they can just
and there is an
stitch,
intern position.
You know?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Applying for being an intern.
Yeah, I was about to say that when as far as other professions are concerned, we are asked to get qualifications. But with them, they're in government positions. You can be a minister of agriculture tomorrow. You can be a minister of police. I mean, what are you doing there when you don't know about agriculture? What are you doing there when you don't know about policing? Even worse, defense, the defense of a country. You just take a granny who's never ran even a kilometer in her life.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to me. It doesn't seem to me the criteria is expertise. After observing politics for a while, I get a sense that the people who are in that space, the biggest thing that is their currency is their ability to tell stories, narrative. You know what I mean? It's not like any technical skill or anything like that. It's not like technical know-how. It's like, can you speak well? Are you charismatic?
So basically,
can you tell a narrative? And I think we must try move away from those kinds of politics. Unfortunately, this is what the South African electorate has gotten used to. The guy who can speak the best, the guy who sounds smart, in political engagements and so on. They wouldn't necessarily be interested in a guy who has the actual technical know-how, because you might not sound exciting enough. You know what I mean? But we must move away from the politics of excitement. Actually get to the substance of it. You know what I mean? If we want actual change, you know what I mean? That is one of the weaknesses I've seen in our politics. It is this charisma, this good storytelling that we
On
look
that
at.
note, I just want to play this 30-second or 16-second video.
But are
They've
they
done
good
it again.
characters though? Are
They've
they
done
good
it again.
speakers? Are they?
Can you see the IDs? Can you see the IDs?
Yeah. This the, what are
Just
they
on that
doing?
point. Like, bruh, still. And it's the same word. Because as you can see on the video, what 35 again today. I don't know which day this was. I think it was yesterday or today, sometime. You know. Look at this. What is this, bruh? This is like blatant voter fraud, bruh. Blatant, bruh.
And here's another thing I want to ask you, Minage. Like,
in front of everybody's face.
Are these things done digitally nowadays? Last time I checked, it was digital. So they have a small machine, like some carrying something like a pad. That's a voter registration, right?
No, you know, again, with the police, the example that I made with the police, they're still using documents so that it can be easily thrown away if they have to. But then if you put things in the system, bruh, it becomes hard, you know, to get rid of that because there's a trail, you know.
It's really cool. I get why they're doing it.
You can still recover it.
Yeah, but in your bed, why all this trouble to do this into the hard way when the machine? But yeah, I'm sure they have an explanation. They always do. Well, what they were doing.
Okay, guys, let me play this video, bro, because I know we can get passionate, bro. It's gonna be 50 minutes in, and the video is just
Yeah.
All right, let me play this video. But it's still crazy, 600 million, yo.
We would like to assure.
By the way, I just noticed something. Like, forgive me, guys. I'm just reading it. Stop. I mean, crime stop. I mean, I would think that they would say stop crime, but it's okay, fine. You know, crossing the border with no documents. You know, you're not spoken for. Nobody knows that you even crossed the country. That's illegal. That's
I'm also troubled by the SAPS crime stop.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, with SAPS crime stop, it stops. SAPS stop crime. Hey, my friends. You see? Hey, but let me just say,
we listen and we don't judge.
We would like to assure you all that the government.
You can only hear the video, right?
To assure you all that the government has taken extensive measures to ensure that the country remains safe
and the videos
secure.
They play.
The South African Police Service has elevated its operational readiness across all provinces with comprehensive deployment plans in place to protect communities, critical infrastructure, and key public spaces.
The law is very clear. No person may carry dangerous weapons or firearms at a gathering where such conduct is prohibited by law or where it is intended to intimidate or threaten others. Our members have been instructed to enforce the law without fear or favor.
And should tensions spill over into violence, the SNDF could be called in.
In case things get out of hand, public property gets really vandalized.
Did you see that, Venus? I'm sorry, guys. Did you see that, Venus? This.
Over into violence, the SNDF could be
called in. Not the Malawans.
In case things get out of hand, public property gets really vandalized, like it happened in KZN. Police will invite us to assist because we can't go there on our own. But also we can only go there on the basis of the papers from the president to say the president would allow us to go and support police.
Authorities warn that violence, intimidation, and vigilantism won't be tolerated, insisting the law will take its course. But maintaining stability will come at a cost.
I can tell you that it's going to cost the South African Police Service over 600 million. That's what it costs when there are efforts to destabilize the country. Additional funds. We're making those resources. So this is a special operation because such threats have been made on social media and so forth.
Okay, I want to let you guys speak about this, but I want to just pose a question. How did they come to that calculation? How did they get to 600 million? You know, like during the July unrest when people were protesting and some were looting and whatnot. Okay, fine. After the fact, you can calculate and say, okay, this is what happened, this is what happened, so it cost this much. Okay, fine. But nothing has happened yet. So how did they come to 600 million?
I don't want to be their spokesperson, but if I were to use my administration brain, I will try and figure out how that money is going to be spent. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of money, but I don't want to be their spokesperson, so that's the thing.
My problem.
No, but whatever you think.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
He said we're gonna need 600 million with a straight face. He said that, and he was serious about it. I think they look at us as fools.
Shout out to Lorraine.
Because there is no way in hell that you. First of all, police are already getting a salary. I guess it's their job. And secondly, they lied that people are carrying dangerous weapons. And the only people that we saw carrying dangerous weapons, bricks and the biggest branch of a whole tree is the Malawians that were protesting and actually attacking the police. Where was the energy for all of this? Where was the budget then? There was no budget. Them doing their job in the first place when they were actually attacked by a group of dangerous, illegal immigrants in this country. There was no budget that was needed for that. But there's budget for people who are just voicing out their frustrations and their opinions. All of a sudden, they're going to need 600 million for that.
So, yeah.
Oh, saying they don't even have the budget for the buses.
The countries that these people come from, they should be paying for their deportation. Why should we, the people that we are complaining about them, that we don't want them, should pay for these people? It doesn't make any sense. They cannot be serious.
Yeah, I wanted to say something.
So, Lindo, I was gonna say, I think you're asking the wrong question about the 600 million. The acting minister said we are mobilizing these resources, or getting these resources because he said something about we are doing it because there are efforts to destabilize the country. Do you hear that? So he's saying 600 million because there are efforts to destabilize the country. Now, I want you to still connect what I'm saying now to what I said in the initial stages of my first comments. Strategically now, do you see the propaganda war? So
100%.
so now the movement of March and March is saying we have a problem with illegal migrants or illegal immigration. They are saying there are efforts to destabilize the country. Do you see that? You have to think about these things. You must listen, but you must listen. You know what I mean?
100%.
The underlying message is we are justified in using the state security force against you because
Imagine, bro.
not because you are concerned about illegal immigration. No, you are destabilizing the country. Do you
Imagine,
see?
bro. Imagine.
So I want us to be very sober about the real propaganda war, the war of words that we are engaged in, and that's why my initial point stands. You've got to establish your legitimacy. You've got to say yes, illegality in terms of immigration. There's a lot that's happening there. It's not just people coming here. It's not about people coming here from other places. It is the process that is corrupt, that has been corrupted. Do you see that? And that is violation of the law. You see, then you bring it back, you point it back to the law, and then you point out all the other ways in which the law is being violated. Do you see? So now you must keep repeating this thing. And I know, so initially, March and March has been saying, we keep saying illegal immigration, but they keep saying we are against immigration. That's it. You understand? It's just a matter, it's just words. It's twisting words, playing around with words. I told you I studied language. I know how they do words.
Vigilantes, xenophobia, Afrophobia, all those things.
So don't give them that satisfaction. Stop playing the pawn moves. Take the queen and move it and make it go and check the king. And for you to do that is make the law the central thing, because that is harder for them, your opponent, to argue against. You understand? I mean, look, I know that South Africans are frustrated and they're saying, why should we keep explaining ourselves? We don't care. No, but we should care, especially now when you see how the military strategy is being set up by your opponent. I mean, don't jump into a trap with your eyes open when you can see that, oh, I'm being trapped here. So jump into it, maneuver so that you can win. I mean, my last point would be even the 30th of June doesn't need to be a fixed date, because now, it's known. So, I would, personally, I wouldn't do anything on the 30th of June. I would just say, look, because now it doesn't take away any legitimacy from you. You know what I mean? You can just come up and say, guys, you know what? It's fine. This is not a March struggle. This is a long-term struggle. Because the struggle for ensuring the rule of law is eternal. You understand? So it doesn't have to be in any month. We can just say, you know what? The struggle continues. Let's see how we regroup, sit down, re-strategize, and plan our next moves. We won't necessarily do anything on the 30th. And then your opponent will have made all of those logistical preparations, waiting for you, and you don't show up. They're waiting for you there. You are not there.
And they're camping there with the tanks and all these things.
do that to your opponent, and then come back again on social media and say, no, you know what? Actually, on the what of July, I think we should do something. You understand? So now when you say that, because the last time you didn't show up, now they're not sure whether you're gonna show up or not. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, don't make it easy for them. Make
so
them sweat.
Basically, we mustn't show them the playbook or our playbook or the people's playbook.
That's strategy. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Make them sweat for nothing. And then, chill back, maybe have some parties on that day. Get-togethers, discuss strategy, having a bride there, having some drinks. They will be there in the streets waiting for you. You won't be there. And then you will be talking about, soberly now, what are our next moves? Look at the whole chessboard, and figure out the next plans. You understand? At the same time, you are garnering public support and all of that. It keeps going. You keep them sweating. Don't end the game too soon. As getting extra time, don't end the game at the 90 minutes. Let's go.
Okay,
Extend
2
it.
points. 2 points. But just to answer, I want to go back to the law part. But just to answer on that one, with the game, sometimes, like, I'm going to use a football analogy, right? Sometimes with the underdog, right? You go into the field, you're playing against this juggernaut, and you find yourself winning, you know what I mean? Because of the determination and the self-belief maybe that you had. So now, how do we know if, because you never know when you're ready unless you throw yourself into the fire, you know what I mean? But I'm not really asking a question, but I'm just saying, but I just want to go back to the law part. I want to use 2 points on the law part, right? The army, for example, first and foremost, I'm sorry, I'm gonna call you Freddy, bruh, because I'm really, maybe Kudeleli can help me with your first name, because I think it's perhaps.
Tiliwali Freddy Singo. Singo.
All right. So 600 million, how many South African citizens? 0. That's not for us. It's against us. Bruh, is there anyone on the stream that is playing back the thing? That is playing back the stream? Because I can hear, I think, from one of us, I think someone is playing the stream. Okay, fine. I want to go back to the law, right? The army. The army is supposed to, 1, protect us against foreign threats. That's crazy to say, right? But then foreign threats, bruh, that are putting us in harm and maybe causing some damage and whatnot, we rely on the army to defend us, right? Whenever the army is supposed to come within societies of South Africa and whatnot, it's supposed to be if there's an issue of domestic terrorism, meaning that if one of any South African is going crazy and is trying to do some crazy stuff, or maybe I don't know, bomb a building or something, or I don't know. Maybe there's some people going around shooting people in the streets. I don't know, right? But then to me, like, we're trying to read between the lines, they're considering everyone that is fighting against this issue, or perhaps maybe I guess in simple terms, they're fighting for their country because they want safety in their country and they want opportunities in their country. They want to reap the benefits of their country. You know what I mean? But then somehow that deserves to be responded with by police service and the army, of which is not fair. Already they're breaking so many rules there just to bring out the army and just throwing the army to people, right? And 2, like I mentioned before, crossing the border illegally is a crime. All these things are in the Constitution, right? But then they don't care, and they never did, So to me, when it comes to the law, it's crazy because even the judges that they have, they're all captured. Well, not all of them, but then, I mean, most of them, they're all captured, bro. They're gonna dance to the tune that is sung by whoever was in power at that point in time, right? And unfortunately, we've only had the ANC in power in this country, which is sad because, I mean, that should reflect on us. Even though, okay, there's some conspiracy theories that these illegal immigrants, they're giving them, whether it's IDs and whatnot, but then maybe they're making them vote and they voting for them, they inflating votes and whatnot. But then that's allegedly, I don't know, right? But that's allegedly, okay? Even though we've seen some videos, but allegedly. The game is rigged. Already the game is rigged. Literally, you can go to the police station, go to any law enforcement type or even attorneys and whatnot, bro, and you stand for your rights. You cite it. You cite the laws. You do all those things, bro. If they already have a plan for you, it does not matter. As they are showing us right now, they are breaking the laws and they are targeting South Africans who are actually fighting for their rights. But then they are considered the lawbreakers that deserve not only the police but the army. Mind you, the police have been marching, not marching, but they've been there at the marches, you know, evaluating the situation, monitoring the situation and whatnot. And they haven't seen anything. So when they talk about weapons, the lady spoke about weapons. Who has carried weapons? I mean, I think by now we would have known about people carrying guns and whatnot, unless she's talking about the sticks.
No, there was a situation somewhere. I don't know where was it. Maybe it was in Joburg. I don't know. But the police came. They were like, hey, "We're not gonna go there with people. Certain people carrying some people carrying firearms here." And then Palumtati pleaded with the people. Was like, "Hey, if you're carrying a firearm, a gun, go home or go leave that gun and then come back as you are." So there was one occasion, but maybe it was just, I mean, people go with firearms to grocery shopping. So maybe the guy came across a man, maybe there was, we had a guy with him, and then there's a march, I'm like, hey, he wants to participate. So, I mean, we're living in a violent country. It's not like he was showing it like this. No, probably it was here. I don't know. I didn't see the guy with the gun, but I'm just assuming. Maybe it was just someone carrying his firearm. Maybe he was from work or from somewhere, and then he saw the march, and then he wanted to participate. Not that he came to the march wanting to do something, because he's armed, But the thing is, they forget to in South Africa, it's a very violent country. There's a lot of crime done by some of these illegal immigrants. So there are a lot of firearms in South Africa. So it's not something they should scare a police officer. If police, sometimes you go to a grocery store, you'll see police there. Walking in group, they just jump off a quantum, a police quantum, and then you're carrying your firearm in the supermarket. Do they feel threatened? No. So I guess then maybe there's a law that says when you're marching, you're not supposed to carry a firearm. But I was just saying this to let you know. I don't know South African laws. I mean, but my 2 cents on the 600 million is really crazy, though. It's really crazy that they're willing to spend that much. What I'm asking myself is now.
Can you also, as you're speaking, also respond to Freddie?
He kind of said a lot of things there, but
no, the question that is on screen right now.
Oh, Freddie, who's going to benefit on the 600 million? Okay, let me be their spokesperson now. Who's going to benefit? Of course, it's the police officers that are going to be working overtime. And the funny thing is, this match is going to be during the day, right? Later on, people will be going their separate ways, and you will be asking yourself, why is this overtime they always mention when these things come up? And obviously, I think in such a situation, there's going to be police officers who, why am I thinking these things is going to be happening? It's going to be happening only in KZN. Of course, it's going to be happening throughout South Africa. But I'm pretty sure here, in South Africa, somewhere in KZN, especially Durban, there's going to be a lot of police officers not from the province. I guarantee you that. So 100%. That's it. That 600 million probably is going to go there. And then obviously the guys who are high there on top, by the time it gets to these police, maybe it's going to be 100 million or even under that. Ramaphosa is going to take his cut. Our age is not in at a point where she can ask for cards, she's just a puppet there. So there's gonna be those guys who are taking cards in the garages are gonna make a lot of money, petrol by these police cars traveling from one part of the country to the other. But still, that 600 million is still a lot, because if you're already working and you're earning a salary, if I'm telling you to work 5 hours extra more, it's overtime, okay, fine. But you add the
But how do they know it's going to be 5 hours more?
No, I'm just saying. I know for a fact it's not going to be 5 hours more. I'm just saying for the sake of the overtime point. Yeah, more. So how many police officers do we need to look after these people? Remember these past few matches that have been happening. There's been a lot of people, bruh, and it has happened maybe week to week, twice, 3 times a week, different parts of KZN. They must come and break down the numbers. How much did they spend ever since this thing started alone? And why now announce which they're going to spend 600 million? Well, it's a way for them to chow money, really. They know nothing's going to happen. But money has to flow. I mean, I'll make an example. I don't know who spoke about what money corruption. Remember during Mandela's funeral, you do know how much they spent on the funeral. It was 20 million, if I'm not mistaken. And they were, I'm assuming, I think so. No, it can't be 2 million. I think it was around 12 or 20. But there were allegations which people use the opportunity to loot money. So it doesn't matter whether it's a funeral, it's a get-together, it's protecting civilians or going against civilians. When they find an excuse to open the public purse, they will do it.
It was 300 million. I just googled it. It was 300
God
million.
damn it, shit!
Imagine, it was 300 million. Okay, guys. Okay,
wait. Okay, give me a moment. So, to protect illegal foreigners from South African descendants, it cost 600 million. And to bury one man who was the leader of this country, it cost 300 million. Hey, they really do these numbers. They have a special accountant. They works magic with the numbers.
I don't even know how it happens, bro. But it does. Okay, like we're still on this topic, guys.
Hold on, I want to say something real quick.
Okay, wait, you're going to say it, but because we're still on the same topic, I want to play a video, and then you're going to be the first one to speak. It's okay. So let me play this video, and then please hold your thoughts, and don't forget, please. Because this one is the same, and there's an Easter egg of some sorts in this video. Some of you will recognize it, maybe not. But I'm sure Venus, because you were there when we reviewed this video. But I was so shocked when I saw this clip, and I was like, wow, they have no shame. Are they really using this video? But then again, okay, before we get there, people, thank you so much for everyone that is watching. Please make sure you like, you subscribe, you comment. Let me read a few chats, and then I'm gonna play the video. So
okay.
Linda is saying 600 million they will actually end up stealing. Of course, they stole 500 million sponsorship fund. Not only the sponsorship fund, where's the COVID money? Where's the COVID money? Apparently it was like 500 billion or something, and it vanished. You know what I mean? And then Utabo says, this government is against South Africans. They're going to steal it. This stuff. And then again, Lily saying, Liberty Proclamation confirmed fraudulent citizenship since 1994. Why not use law 600 million to employ officials to revoke fraudulent citizens? Or they can just renovate schools, I always think that if I was a politician and I was corrupt, I would just focus on education. As long as I'm helping the kids, I think that's enough to keep people quiet. Not quiet, but I think there'll be probably lesser issues, but okay, fine.
Yeah, but education and healthcare go together, go hand in hand.
Healthcare, 100% in healthcare, you know. And then Freddy saying share the money to the citizens. I don't know about that, Freddy. Hey, these people, I don't know if they'll do that at all, you know. And then the top is saying, I'm asking why they don't take the 600 million and transport. Okay, yes, I even mentioned that earlier on. I was like, okay, fine. They can't even afford buses, you know. Bruh, like, bro, it's easy as, okay, fine. The right thing would be for those nations to pay for their citizens and take them back. But then we cannot wait for them because we need to continue with our lives. You know what I mean? We need to live in this country and finally see a safe country. And if there's, obviously there's crime, but then I think, you know, it'll be not bad, but at least you know who you're dealing with. You know what I mean? But how can you deal with people that are not even documented, bro, that you cannot even trace? So 100% agree with you there, Tabo, bro. At least use this money to send these people back home. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you everyone for commenting. Okay, let me play this video and then we'll continue with our chat.
In a move.
Okay, let me just raise the volume.
In a move to reassure South Africans, police say plans have been finalized and officers have been deployed to hotspots to maintain public safety ahead of the planned June 30 demonstrations. Government has...
Do you remember this video, Vinas? You remember the logs?
Yeah, the logs.
South Africans.
But you know what they're saying? I don't know if you can hear this video. They're using this video as an example of the violence they're talking about.
And directed at the wrong people. Directing it to the... Yeah, hey, brother.
Where the Malawans were attacking the police. And we did a video on this. And you
That's
see
what they do.
On Gomasenga's point. You see the propaganda they're doing. They're using the video. This video is not even that old, bro. And this is the news, bro. News from Africa. They're using a video of Malawans attacking police. By the way, nobody spoke about this. Nobody spoke about this. All these Gatesians and these Ramaphosa's, all these people, they never spoke about this. The Minister of Police, all these people. It's fine.
Even our king.
Yes, bruh. All these people that are warning people, no, don't do this, don't do that. They never spoke about how these people, which South Africa is helping, the same people that they're protecting, they attacked police. For them to call that out, instead what they do is they use these same clips to portray these people as the people of South Africa attacking the police, bruh.
Like, remember what they said? They said it was a misunderstanding.
They said it was a misunderstanding. Imagine, they said it was a misunderstanding.
And no one got arrested.
In fact, they all got some sponges and some blankets and some food and all those things, bro. You know, in other countries, if you're illegal, bro, you don't get this VIP treatment, bro. You
get locked in a cage. Remember Trump? I forgot which year it was. The immigrants were locked in cages. They were locked in cages, bro, with the pop wire.
And one toilet. You know what I mean? But then let me continue. But I wanted you to recognize this video because this is the same video where Malawans were attacking police just a week ago, and now they're using this same video to say violence. All these things, bro.
Lindo, just a quick one before you go into the video. Okay. It's something I also wanted to caution us. You know, we must never use Trump and the United States as an example. No, for real. It's a clear trap. It's a clear trap. I've seen how the other side is using it. It's a clear trap. You know, so now a new narrative is emerging that, you know, these movements, you know, seem to be similar to right-wing movements in the United States and other places, that are, nationalist and bigoted, and all of that. So they're drawing those parallels. So don't give them, the ammunition. You understand? you know. So rather, not say anything about it until they bring it up, and just say, hey, we don't know what you're talking about. We are just focused on the law. It's
Yeah.
so important. And Lindo, even to your point that you said the game is rigged. Even if the game is rigged, you're still trying to play to win, right? So you have to still ask yourself, how do I win with the game that is rigged? That still remains a
100%.
central question, you see. So now you have to ask yourself, what are my strengths? What are my opponent's strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my opponent's weaknesses? You know what I mean? And then you play to their weaknesses, not their strengths, and you play to
On
your
that point,
strength.
can I ask you a question on that point?
Mm.
I want to ask, to what point where maybe strategy, uh, or let me put it this way, where maybe, I'm looking for this word, where maybe, I guess, self-belief or maybe faith or maybe determination outweighs strategy and whatnot. Because right now, okay, going back to the football analogy, a team can be better than you, better strategies, better tactics, better everything, but you just go out there and you're like, I'm not losing today. You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, certainly, so let me put it to you this way, just to give you a high level view of the analytical framework I'm using, Uh, it's from my own philosophy that I'm developing. I call it kinesiology. So I use the four classical elements, right? Earth, water, fire, wind. You understand? Now, uh, I've touched on wind now, in terms of propaganda, discourse, language, and framing, narrative. You see, those are wind element things. So now what you're talking about is fire. But you see, fire alone doesn't win. Not all the time. A good example is the recent war between the United States of America and Iran. You see, Iran has effectively won that thing. If we are to go by the terms of agreement that have been agreed to now, that Trump says he signed. And Iran was always the underdog. But they did not only win because of fire. Certainly, fire was needed. You needed that warrior courage if you're going to stand against that kind of military. But you see, the United States overextended itself, even as a superpower. You understand? It overextended itself in terms of international relations, geopolitical capital, and military resources having to be moved from other places to go to the Middle East and all of that, and they didn't win. That's a strategic loss, very much so. They had a few seeming tactical victories, but they lost strategic. So the Iranians definitely had to have courage and that thing of I'm not losing. But they definitely had to engage on the wind element issues, questions around legitimacy, language, media narrative, and so on. Do you see that? They had to make sure that it was clear that they remind the people the United States of America is the aggressor. Remember that. They always had to bring the point back to that to say, in terms of international law, these ones have violated the law. We have the right to defend ourselves. Do you see? So you are always, caught in that struggle between balancing the fire and the courage, and the self-belief that is definitely required to win. But if you ignore strategy and all you have is fire, it's like 50-50. You may win, may not, and you don't know if you want to just leave it to chance because the other side is certainly not leaving it to chance. That's for sure.
No, 100%.
You best believe they're sitting with experts consulting. How can we do this? You understand? So you also then have to think, like in this kind of
Yeah.
situation, how do I win?
No, 100%. I totally do agree with you. When I say I'm not losing tonight, there has to be like some strategy involved. Like I like the analogy you made with the elements and whatnot, because you're right. You know what I mean? Fire is like the greatest purifier, but then at the same time you need the wind, to make sure that fire, it spreads. At the same time, when everything is burning down, you're gonna need some water to cool that fire. You're gonna need the earth to make sure that we can rebuild again. All those things. So they all go hand in hand. So it's a beautiful philosophy, I should say. But okay, fine. Let me just do some quick comments here, and then we'll go straight to the video. I'm not going to pause the video now. I was just shocked by the video that they were using, because it's a video of Malawans attacking the police, and they're using it in a video talking about violent South Africans.
They're gonna say yes, Msakati hiding there at the back.
News from Africa is doing us like this. Okay, fine. Let me just do this quick comments real quick. Hey, Kumu. The NCMA beep as fuck this country. The SIU made it easy for us. Foreigners without skills are illegal. Doctors, lawyers, teachers, lecturers, nurses, mechanics are all illegal in SA. 600 million. It's already stolen and allocated 100%. It's already allocated. We like, you know what I love about you guys. You guys, exactly this country. You know our government. I'm so glad that like maybe we're not crazy, because at the end of the day, like we got to the point whereby we just know they corrupt. Guys, we need to make sure, bro, we don't vote for these people, bro. Like they need to get out, bro. Like we've seen 30 years of this.
Let's give someone else a chance.
Let's give someone else a chance, bro. I'm not affiliated with any party. I'm not gonna say, oh, vote this person. Like, bro, just don't vote for the EFF. Don't vote for the EFF as well.
For me, don't vote for the DA. Don't vote for the NC. Don't vote for the DA.
All the mainstream political parties, bro. Like they done at this point, bro. Let's get rid of them. We have the power.
And IFP.
And IFP, bro. They sold us out.
IFP, they are sellouts.
And then when did South Africans have to register a sponsor shop operated in my house? 500 million already stolen.
Can I answer this one?
You got sent. No, I agree with you. You're cooking there, cool. Mathematics is lacking in our minister 600 million.
600 million citizens.
That metro be over. But let me play this video, guys. No, I'm gonna play it now. I promise you. I was just shocked the first time. But for everyone who's maybe coming in right now to the show, they're showing this video to South Africans, but these are the Malawans that were attacking South African police. We all saw this.
In a move to reassure South Africans, police say plans have been finalized and officers have been deployed to hotspots to maintain public safety ahead of the planned June 30 demonstrations. Government has urged residents to remain calm and allow law enforcement agencies to carry out their duties amid heightened anti-illegal immigration tensions.
That the government has taken extensive measures to ensure that the country remains safe and secure. The South African Police Service has elevated its operational readiness across all provinces with comprehensive deployment plans in place to protect communities, critical infrastructure, and key public spaces. There will be daily operational assessments and continuous monitoring of the security environment to ensure that our deployment remains responsive to emerging risks.
Although he admits citizens have a constitutional right to protest peacefully, he says police aren't taking threats of violence lightly.
We are not simply deploying on the basis of proven threats. We are deploying on the basis of our goal. The goal is to keep the country safe and secure. So, and it costs a lot of money.
What
The
a
people who
lie.
are involved in efforts of destabilization should know that. We are deploying on the basis of our responsibility, our constitutional responsibility to keep the country safe.
However,
Lindo,
if the police's operational
go back,
environment
go
requires
back, Lindo,
additional capacity,
All right.
the South African National
go
Defence
back.
Force will
That part where he's saying we are not deploying on any proof. Go back. There's something he said there.
Imagine, bruh.
Go back. Go back.
We are deploying on the basis of our goal. The goal.
Go back again. Yeah.
Although he admits citizens have a constitutional right to protest peacefully, he says police aren't
Pause,
taking
Lindo.
violence lightly.
This is how you have to do your analysis, Lindo. You must listen, watch the whole thing, go back, listen closer, go back, listen closer. Yeah, what? Press play.
You know, I'm trying to take everything in and then trying to remember as much as possible. And then, yo, bruh, the things I have to say about what this guy said, you know, he
Press
admits,
play.
he
Press
admits,
play.
and
Let's listen from
and it
his
was
own
funny
mouth.
when he said our goal. Okay.
Play. Press play.
Simply
By the way, I want to also mention the only violent video I've seen from the clips that they're showing here where the Malawans are taking the South African police. But whenever they're showing the videos of the actual marches, we don't see any violence. But I just wanted to mention that.
on the basis of proven threats.
Stop it right there. We're not deploying on the basis of proven threats.
Bruh.
We are not deploying on the basis of proven threats. You understand what I'm saying? Like, for me, if you're going to talk about a 600 million security operation, you better have some proof of some threat. Even
That's a lot of money to just.
That was my question when I was asking, how did they come up with this 600 million? That's what I was actually asking. It's like, there's no anything. That's why I even made an example that during the July unrest and the looting and whatnot, after the fact, you can then count and say, okay, these many stores, about whatever resources that were used, this, that, and the other, it amounted to this much. But then how can you come to 600 million when there's actually no, using his words, proven threats?
Lindo, in terms of public funds, it's very clear. You can't just come with a proposal that just gets approved.
Bruh.
You must provide sufficient rationale and explain, and sometimes with evidence, why should this money come to this project or that project.
And sometimes you don't even get the money, even with all the research. You know.
Yeah, you gotta present something. You know, there's no so now then I say, okay, it proves my point right. The point or the priority is not really the country's safety. It is the state securing itself and ensuring its control. You know, the thing they're worried about is losing control of the situation.
That's their goals. It's one of their goals.
Those are the goals. Those are the real, like, they're worried about losing control because that has a lot of implications politically and in international relations, their image, PR. You understand? So it's clear. It's clear to me.
Even Ramaphosa, in one of the videos that we reviewed, he did say that to fulfill our international
obligations.
International obligations. Continue.
But you know what, bro? Before you continue, you know, it's so funny because sometimes they tell you in your face what is it they are doing, but because some of us get caught up in between the noise and then we miss what they're saying. Because You see what when Masenga said you must rewind, boy, and pause. You know, how do you think a lot of South Africans took this when they were listening to Mr. Pinde? How do you think they understood him? No, what I'm trying to say is sometimes they tell you exactly what they want, what they're doing, or what they want, but people will get caught up in the mix.
Let me give you a South African conversation between three ladies that I had today. You know, so there were three ladies at Checkers, right? There was a lady that was buying about some stuff. So she ended up just staying at the till, talking with the cashier. So there's a cashier, right? And then there was another woman that is helping with packing the plastics. You know, so there were three ladies, right? So the conversation was about this whole thing. And this other lady is saying, the lady that is buying, that no, Ramaphosa is taking us for fools and whatnot. And they were agreeing, you know, with the cashier lady. And then what struck me, the lady that is packing plastic, she was the older lady. She was probably the oldest lady between the three, right? And she was saying, you know what's the problem with Ramaphosa? They were speaking in Zulu, but I'm going to try and translate. You know what's the problem with Ramaphosa? His problem is that he has such a good heart. You know, that's his problem. He's too good. But you know, she's agreeing. Listen, she's agreeing with the other ladies as well. But her context is that he's too kind, so he's thinking for these people. You know, whereas he shouldn't be thinking for these people. You know, so her angle was that he's too kind. And then this other lady that is buying, you can see that she looked like, I'm just assuming she looked like she probably works, you know, like a government job. She looks pretty well off, you know. And she's like, no, don't buy it. Don't buy it. You know? That's not true. You know, he's a horrible man. So that's like an insight to a random South African conversation happening. And I'm just listening. I'm in the till next to them. So I'm on this side, you know. I'm just listening. You know.
On that point, Mfethu, I think, yeah, that's why the wind element is so crucial, Mfethu. There's nothing more important than that, because that has to do with the mind. It has to do with how you take in information and how you process it. We can both be looking at the same thing and even agree what it is, but we might disagree on what created that situation or what it means. So you're now dealing at the interpretative layer now. You know, the interpreting layer. We are looking at the same thing, but what are we thinking about what we are looking at? You know, what do we interpret? How do we interpret these events? What do we think things mean? And it is at that level that the politicians operate. They are always
100%.
concerned about how the public interprets events. That's why there is such a thing as narrative in politics, or spin, if I can call it that, political spin, where something happens, you know, the public is outraged, they interview politicians, and then the politicians tell a certain story a certain way. You know, and that's why I said politicians, their biggest skill has to be good storytelling. You have to be able to, you know, say that a swimming pool is a fire pool. You must be able to say that. You understand?
But that was true, though.
People.
You know, politicians can take a block of ice, and you can see some smoke or some steam, whatever you want to call it, and they can actually convince you, bruh, this thing is hot. Yeah. This is hot. You see the smoke? You don't see the smoke. You see how
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, bro.
That's the job, man. So that's why my point here though was a bit of empathy with each other. You know what I mean? We see things differently for different reasons. Sometimes it's someone who's honestly mistaken. You know, maybe that lady was really truly thinks, wow, this president is such a wonderful person, you know. Oh, shame, he's just swimming with the sharks. You know what I mean?
He's trying.
Yeah, you know. So
But it's a great white.
yeah, so now you sometimes you don't know, you know, whether someone is being disingenuous or really they believe this thing they're saying, or they're just defending a position. You never know. So that's why you have to be able to read these things, you know, and be able
100%.
to sense whether this one is just arguing for the sake of arguing, or this one really genuinely believes what they're saying. And then you will know whether to use empathy or to be combative. You know what I mean with people. Because sometimes we just fight with each other and we're just missing each other because of interpretation.
Mm. Okay,
They
so let
say
me
blue,
continue
they say
this
red.
video. Okay, let me just read Penelope. Hope you're doing well. They're looting their last bit because they know the walls are closing in on them. Yes, 100%, you know. And they have all the state funds, you know, all the taxpayers' money. You know, they're just playing around with it. You know what I mean? They say, hey, I'm gonna buy you. How much you need? You want $1 million? Okay, here's $1 million. Go out there and tell your followers or your party members or whatnot to not engage in this. Okay, you go out there, do this and that, you know. But then let me continue this video because it's halfway anyway. So let's just finish it.
On the basis of our goal. The goal is to keep the country safe and secure.
Safe from who, though?
So, and it costs a lot of money. The people who are involved in efforts at destabilization should know that. We are deploying on the basis of our responsibility, our constitutional responsibility to keep the country safe.
However, if the police's operational environment requires additional capacity, the South African National Defence Force will be on standby.
Based on the experience of 2022, there's always, I think it still is fresh in our minds that there is a need for us as the defense force, as a contingency measure in case the things just go out of hand. We don't expect that from information that we're getting.
I don't know why that guy is doing
it.
But
in case things get out of hand, public property really vandalized, like it happened in KZN, police will invite us.
KZN is an example for
Cachalia
everything.
says that he and other law enforcement agencies will meet with the country's 9 premiers this week on police operations and ensure no interruptions to essential services. For Newsroom Africa on Channel 405, I'm Skarama Fokwani in Johannesburg.
I mean, crazy stuff.
You know what I'm asking myself now? I think I heard them saying 9 premiers are going to meet. I know when these big guys are moving, there's a lot of money spent there. So is that money from the same 600 million, or is just another manager on the side? Just premiers moving? Because if a premier from, like, look at South Africa, the way it's structured. Western Cape, Eastern Cape, KZN, Northern what, yeah, I'm not a bad man. But you can't, I'm trying to say, it's like this, you know? So imagine moving from point A to point C to point D. Yeah, well, how much does that even cost? Because when this guy are moving...
Wait, guys. Is there someone playing something behind the scenes?
No, I'm not playing anything now. It's just my computer on my side.
Okay.
Or maybe it's the fan.
Yeah, I think it's on my side. No, I'm sorry, it's me. All right.
So I'm asking myself, is it part of that 600 million or something else is cooking on the side? These premiers all moving from, and then they're going to be booked in some place. I'm sure they're not going to be using a government building. Yeah.
Let me show you this real quick. Let me show you this. It's not going to derail the thing. I just want to show you this real quick. You know, an example of what we're talking about.
They sell drugs. They do all sorts of illegal stuff. Now, there is no self-respecting nation that allows it. We must ship them out. We must ship them out. And that today, if we go across the street in Hillbrook, there's a lot of people staying there. and who happen to be Africans in their majority. But they don't have papers. They've taken over buildings. Hillbrow, when you go there today, is not Hillbrow, that used to be. It's full of people without papers. They sell drugs. They do all sorts of illegal stuff. Now, there is no self-respect that allows them. Those people are not there, some of them, because of running from political violence in their countries. They run away from hunger and underdevelopment and unemployment. They found shelter in our country to do illegal things. We must ship them out. We must.
And why you keep repeating it? Are you repeating it?
On the part of the state.
Hey.
I know his voice is annoying, but I just wanted to play that. Will say anything. These people will say anything.
Lindo, how can Balula be so xenophobic? How can a government official be so xenophobic?
He's a xenophobe.
Let me tell you.
How dare he? How can he do that? Shame on him.
Bruh, what I wanted to say as soon as I saw, first thing that struck me was, first thing that struck me was Umbu looking like a puppy. You know that emoji on WhatsApp, the one with the tears, like, it's like, you know that emoji, right? It's like a puppy, bro, with cheering a little bit. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Remember what he said weeks back? But yeah, he said something as if, and then now Mbalula's saying this and he's looking at him like a puppy. And then my thing is, Mbalula is the master of the, what was the word of the people who always jump around? They say this thing, they say this, they send flip-flop. I say, this is a must. He's the president, the Duke of flip-floppers, this guy. When Mkwanazi came out on the 6th of July last year, he was like, hey, we can't have this police just running around ban protocols. And then later on, he was like, hey, Mkwanazi had the right. He had the right to wear that uniform. He's a trained special task force. What. There are some videos of him, oh no, we can't be doing this. Now, there's another video of him I saw saying, we're not against much and much. Yes, people have to. So now this. So, but my conclusion when I'm seeing this, accompanied by what I've seen from the other videos by other politicians, like for example, Panyaza Lusuf, and the president saying something 2019, and then now recently saying something else. We've been speaking a lot about strategies, right? I also think it's a strategy they are employing as the ANC, but only maybe God could tell if it's going to work or not, but I think it's not going to work, but they're going to rig it. Because, the elections are coming up, so you can't have all the members of the ANC siding with the president on immigration, illegal immigration. Some of them has to, like, they need to say things that seem as if they don't align with the tone of the president. But as if they are going against the president, they want this. Because there are certain people who are following Balol. There are certain people who are following Panyaza Lusuf who see Panyaza Lusuf as the future president of this country. So if he seems, he appears.
Just to mention, Mbalola follows me on Twitter, bro. I don't know why. And the Department of Water and Sanitation follows me on Twitter, bro. I don't know why. But continue.
So you have guys like Mbalula. Okay, Mbalula is a flip-flopper. Probably tomorrow we'll be saying something else. But Panyaza Lusufi always appears as this guy who's against the president. The president will come out and say a certain thing, and then Panya's like, no. There was this video where he was addressing the president in the parliament. He was, no, Mr. President, we must make sure these illegal immigrants, I cannot quote him exactly, but he appeared as if he was against it. So what I'm saying, maybe it's part of NC's strategy. To have these, okay, well, I know there's a bit of a thing going on between Panyaza and Ramaphosa. Very Panyaza is always, I think he adopted the thing, the way he is now. But I'm not there. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's an NC strategy to have people who appear as if they are against the president on illegal immigration. And then there are people within the NC who are like, no way, these are brothers and sisters, they came here, they were seeking shelter, they don't have food, what. Yeah, so within the same party, there are people serving both sides. Some are making international people, if I can put it that way, happy. Yeah, trying to portray a certain image, as the people who are in charge of the government. And then you have people within the same ANC who are against what these others are doing in terms of this, as far as this illegal immigration thing is concerned, right? So we are heading to elections. So if all ANC members are saying, we must accept them, we must, taking the side of the president and the rest of them, what's gonna, like normal people in the society, because a normal person doesn't understand policy, they understand the basic things, which, okay, someone is taking away my job, what you gonna do about it? Are you gonna get rid of them and put me in there, or one of us, or you gonna let them continue and let me suffer as your citizen? So there's that thing going on. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You know why they're doing that though? They're doing it because it's eliminating the opposition. It's almost like excluding.
They're having both sides.
Something to say for real. So, for example, and also all those whatever that is happening there at the parliament, it's timed. They have a time. They know at 5, at 4, whatever, they have to leave. So if they can filibuster, just add a bunch of words in there. So it's better. Let's say it's just you and I, and we're in a conversation of maybe like 10 people, and maybe we are hiding something. It'd be better if I'm the one that is challenging you, because I'm not gonna ask the right questions. I'm not gonna hit the points that maybe are gonna expose you and whatnot. But then if it's someone that has no affiliation with you, does not really care, they're just focusing on whatever they're focusing, then some things might get exposed there. So I think perhaps that's what it is. Even with political parties, I always said from the inception of the EFF, I always saw it as another ANC, because I always thought that they're creating an opposition for themselves so that a true opposition doesn't rise in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, But then, any other comments? Because I want to play,
Yeah.
I'm going to use this language. I want to play our queen.
Yeah, Lindo. Yeah.
After you, Ngoba, I have a couple of things to say.
Okay, you can go ahead. I'll come after you.
Okay. So the thing is, there are 5 violations, legal violations, that have been committed by our own government. So the 5 that are from these videos that I've seen and from the media are freedom of assembly. They violated that constitutional right of the people by trying by all means to prevent peaceful protesters from voicing their own opinions. The second is freedom of expression. As we saw with Ungezwe, they already tried, well, they did. They fined him 250,000, and then they tried to silence Ojasenta and Nopagalum Tagat. And they're trying by all means to eliminate any expression of the people of South Africa. The third is right to life, already by deploying the army on the citizens, which obviously they are threatening the lives of the citizens with the lethal force. The army, they're not going to be carrying teddy bears. They're going to be carrying rifles. Rifles, shoot to kill. Stopping peaceful protesters by any means possible. Already we discovered that they don't have the proof that points that this freedom of assembly is legal and it is violent. There's no proof whatsoever. Fourth, freedom of security of the person. We know that the army is going to use excessive force. They're not going to be diplomatic. They're going to beat.
They're not going to have a chance.
Torture. They're going to torture people. And lastly is administrative justice. Already we've seen these people betraying the constitution, the charter, and the laws of the country themselves, but then they're still painting their own citizens as unlawful, which in itself is actually they are the ones that are committing the crime. So everything that they are saying, the people they are committing crimes, they're doing this and that, they are the actual criminals here. Because if the sad part is that we have the right to take them to court, constitutional court, but as we know, we live in South Africa, the judges are paid for, and because of that, we cannot take them to international court. Take them into international court because we have to pass through the constitutional court first. And we know that they're already trying by all means possible to come up with reasons or lawful reasons to stop and prevent people from marching and expressing their opinions, their rightful opinions. Already they've deployed the army. We've seen that everything that they're trying to pin on the people that are against illegal immigrants, the immigrants themselves, the illegal immigrants themselves are committing crimes after crimes after crimes, but then they get treated with this care and this. I mean, they're actually spoon feeding them. They're taking care of them, and then they are setting their dogs on the people of this country, and then still expect them to vote at the end of the day. They haven't discussed the issue of Home Affairs being involved with so many fraudulent activities in terms of passports, visas, and fake IDs. They haven't even touched that subject. Already, how can you, like, the thing is, everyone has seen the videos of these Malawians beating police officers with a whole S3 and chucking bricks at them, at their heads. And you telling me the peaceful protesters, you're gonna pin that on the peaceful protesters who vote and pay for your salary. And still the audacity of these people to say that they need funds of 600 million. In it itself, the administrative justice, which is, I believe, Section 33, says you should not, or you should treat citizens fairly and with the non-bias. Already they've broken all those laws and all those legal rights of the citizens of South Africa. So what are we left with really here. We left with no choice. They're trying to pin us back. They're trying to silence us. They're trying to silence us, and they're trying to take our rights. And on top of that, they're trying to humiliate us, paint us as bad people, propaganda, smear our names, and drag us through the mud. On top of that, they are threatening to take lethal force, excessive force on its citizens. In any metric, this is not right nor legal. In any circumstance, they have no right, they have no proof whatsoever. But still, we are here speaking our minds, and then they still trying to paint this horrible picture on us and threatening us with violence. This is not right at all. They should be sued and tried for treason. But which is unfortunate as well, because they have the judges. Of course, they have they can do whatever crime, corruption they want, and they don't have to take accountability whatsoever of that.
So, yeah, Lindo,
Can I play this video and then you're gonna be the first one to speak?
sure.
Is that fine? All right. It's Jacinta. She'll tell her story. Let me not explain it.
Guys, hi. I just watched a press briefing from the Minister of Police and other government representatives. And I must say I'm very disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed. I think our government has a serious communication problem. Maybe it's not a communication problem. Maybe it's just an embedded, I don't know what to call it. I don't know. But the government of South Africa literally just went on TV and expressed that they're ready for the 30th, which is fine. And, you know, you can sense a bit of threats here and there. It's okay. But the one thing I'm not understanding is why the government of South Africa is not addressing the real issue, which is illegal immigration and the crisis that we have of foreign nationals who are even in the country buying documents, having corrupt ways of being on the system, and addressing the issue once and for all. Let's just like address the issue for what it is. Don't talk about March and March. Don't talk about the 30th. Talk about the illegal immigration crisis that South Africa has. Talk to the illegal immigrants. And if you feel like threatening anyone, threaten the illegal immigrants who are in the country illegally. Threaten your own officials who are selling off documents. Threaten government officials who haven't been doing their job. Like, talk to the governments of other countries and threaten them if you feel like threatening someone. Why do you resort to threatening the citizens because they're responding to a crisis that you created? And the worst part is you're acting like these citizens are crazy, when the same people who are in the country illegally are the same ones misbehaving and the same ones who've been throwing threats at South Africans, and you're pretending as if you didn't even see. They're the same people who are telling us they're armed and ready. They're the same ones who are instigating violence. But the only people you're directing the threats to is South Africans. And this is very concerning because I don't even think government understands how what they're doing is actually going to backfire to their faces. Because you can't say when someone is like crying to their parents and saying, "Mommy, Daddy, you've been neglecting me. And I'm so angry right now. You know, I want to show you I'm angry by getting out of this house and leaving." And you say, "No, if you dare touch the children of next door who are in this country legally or in this home illegally, who just invaded your space and took over your space, I'm going to beat you up." Like, does that make sense? Like, does that make sense to our government? Like, I'm really, really worried about the South African government. When does the South African government address the issue that we have? Just talk about the issue. Don't talk about anything else but the issue of illegal immigrants in the country. Because right now you've got thousands of them, unknown, undocumented, sitting there at the Durban drive-in. You want to give them food and all of that. That's fine. That's human behavior. That's good. It's a humanitarian thing. But why are you not addressing the issue? Those people are in your country illegally. How did they come in? Where were they staying? What schools were they using? Which hospitals were they going to? Which resources were they using? What jobs did they occupy? What activities were they conducting in the country? Where do they live, with who, etc.? Those are the things you should be addressing as the government, not threatening citizens because they raised a valid concern and you can see it now. It's right in your face that all along you've been ignoring a serious crisis. When does the South African government address the issue of illegal immigrants and some foreigners being in the country with fake documents or buying these documents or corruptly being in the country and doing wrong things in the country? And that is what South Africans are complaining about. That is the issue here. Don't tell us about xenophobia or Afrophobia or ethnic mobilization or whatever you choose to call it. Tell us about the crisis of illegal immigration in the country. How are you going to fix it? That's what we want to hear. Don't threaten us.
Okay, you can go.
All right, before I go, Lindo, maybe you want to read some of the comments, so that the audience also feels included, and then I'll go.
Yeah, so I'll just read these last two. Well, I can start with this one. Jacinda for president. Okay, showcase. Will you vote? Independent candidates or political party affiliated? And then we have the deprived South African. Yeah, keep well, fellow citizens. May we make it through this with our lives. Hey, hopefully, man. Hopefully, Kazeren is saying we need to unite the South Africans, vote differently in these upcoming elections. This will teach them a lesson. Where are we heading, or where we are heading? But why they just don't use the 600 billion and get buses and deport them if they're so scared of violence? Violence that nobody asked for. So yeah, you can go. Thank you, everyone. Okay, wait a bit. I'm so sorry. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your thoughts. I mean, we truly appreciate it because it keeps the conversation flowing, because we also want you guys to be involved, because this is not just our thing. This is all of us. This is our country, including the ones that disagree and see maybe something wrong with all of this. We wanna get that point of view. We wanna see, and maybe we can have a conversation. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll be like, hey, man, you know what? I didn't see it that way. Or maybe you'll be the one that will listen maybe to us and be like, hey, you know what? I did not see it that way. You guys are right and whatnot. So feel free, guys, to share your opinion, your thoughts. And don't ever forget to do the right thing. And we all know what's the right thing, right, guys? The right thing is like, subscribe, comment, and turn on your notifications, guys, so that you can know anytime we're live or uploading a video and whatnot. So yeah.
So I was gonna say my comment is pretty much going to touch on everything everyone has said, including our audience. You will remember, Lindo, that I will keep sounding like a broken record, pulling us back to this issue of law and legitimacy. The first day I came on, I spoke about how this March and March movement, for it to really gain traction and be a force to be reckoned with, it must be a civic mobilization. You understand? And it must be projected that way. It doesn't help if you say, this is what I believe, but no one out there really clearly. You must crystallize. This is a South African civic movement concerned with restoring the legitimacy of the state and proper, clean, good governance. Yabona, you have finished them in that one line. It's done because it speaks to what Usmani was talking about. I like how you were quoting the law. Yes, you see, that's where you get them. Yabona, Jacinta's video, her message, I like it because she's saying there seems to be a communication problem. You see that? And that speaks to which element? Wind, again. I said language, communication, discourse. It's the wind element, and that's where the struggle is. But she did it well there by saying, let's focus on the issue. Why is so much focus on, preventing an uprising? Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to prevent an uprising. Why try to prevent an uprising instead of coming to the citizens to account? It's easier to come and account than to pour lots of money into security and trying, it doesn't work very well. What works well when you're governing is when you govern with legitimacy. So now, I saw people saying Jacinta for president. That's another thing, but she cannot be seen as ethnic. She cannot be seen as
ethnic mobilization.
bigoted. She cannot be seen as partisan. She cannot affiliate with any political party. What I would really want Jacinta to do is to turn this into a South African national mass mobilization, where we go and say, okay, the elections are coming up, guys. That's the game. The elections is the game. Now, if you are able to, because look, the ANC members are not the full population of this country. That 40% is 40% of those who showed up to vote. It's not 40% of South Africa. There's a huge chunk that didn't even show up or register to vote. Now, those are the people. You see, those people belong to March and March. Those people, you understand? If March and March wants to establish itself as a legitimate force in South Africa. Now, as to whether Jacinta must join a political party or what, don't worry about that. She has the people by and large. She must just make sure she keeps the people, she keeps her legitimacy as a leader in South Africa. And I'm telling you, it won't matter whether she's in a political party or not. Because if we make this an inclusive movement for all South Africans, truly, no partisan, no ethnic, no language, nothing, come the time to vote, if we have, or let's say, we have, Jacinta truly has shown her legitimacy as a leader of South Africa, and she has significant influence over the country. She can say, hey, guys, we have, 50 million members. Let me just make a crazy example. Let's say 50, that's like maybe 70, 60% of the population or whatever. And say, look, we have this much votes. These are votes, right? Now, we are actually wondering and considering whether we should actually even vote or not. You know what I mean? With all these votes. Now, if the people who end up voting are less than the number that decided to not vote, it raises a lot of legitimacy questions. Do you see that? So the issue is you must keep pushing and pushing and putting pressure on this legitimacy question. If Jacinta sets herself up as a legitimate South African leader for all South Africans, and she can bring on a significant number of the population, I'm telling you, it will not matter whether March and March, but I would prefer March and March not be a political party because, there's funding things and all of that. The thing is, you need the people. Get the people's minds, get them to understand their rights as citizens, and get them to say, okay, we see this movement. The movement is not really about immigrants. It's not that we hate immigrants. The issue is the rule of law. So yeah, all of us can agree that we want laws to be, to no one to be above the law and all of that. If we can just agree on some basics, just like our parents did in 1994, with that transition in terms of agreeing, these are the laws that will govern us. We can come together and say, no, in 94, certain laws were agreed to. we are concerned that we are seeing repeated violation of the laws, and we don't think this government is necessarily legitimate. So, we can decide how we spend our vote. This is currency. It's like you having money. It's credit. When you go into the store, you choose whether you're buying apples or cabbage. So you go in there, or you can decide not to buy. You can tell the store owner, your apples are rotten, man. I'm not buying from you. I want you to know that I'm not spending my money here at your store because I don't like the condition of your apples. Guess what? Because you said that and you came in and you walked out with money, that will matter. And if more people begin saying that, then the store owner has to think about it. So it's the same. You must think about it in terms of currency. So we must not worry too much about anything else. Let's just worry about civics. Lindo, let's use this platform as much as possible, like Usmani did with his, input, where he quoted the law. Let's educate our people about the state, how it works, how it
I
is
agree.
supposed to work when everything is working well, how that is different from what is actually practically happening in real time. That to show the gap between what the law says and what is actually being done, what the different arms of
100%.
government are supposed to do, the executive, the judiciary, the legislature. We find a simple language to help our people understand what kind of
And
animal is it.
policies as well, because some
Exactly.
people
So
don't know the
yeah.
policies
So
that these parties
because
represent.
yeah, because you see, a lot of intellectuals have lost the people precisely because they are talking this language that is just going above the people's heads.
Mm.
Just talk to the people so that they understand how things work in the society that they live in and what their vote means, and what state legitimacy means. You understand? And all of that. You mobilize. I come the election, you disappear. Like I'm saying, end of this month, you don't do anything. You let them mobilize resources and you don't show up. You disappoint them. Come around closer to election, you show up again. You bring up the issues again of the legitimacy of the state. And I'm telling you, by then, a lot of debt will have been uncovered by a whole lot of politicians. So now you are going to be talking about that portion of the population that didn't vote in 2024, who have no hope in the system. Those are your people. But then there are people within the political parties who will have observed their leaders and the things that will have come up about their leaders. So now you talk to all of those people as well and say, hey, man, we're trying to, get right good governance again. It seems like your guy, is not necessarily in government, but he's also implicated. You know what I mean? You get all of those people who really cannot justifiably defend
Mm.
or protect their political party or their leader. So you mobilize the people around this civic movement for South Africans, not any politician, not anyone. Now, guess what? Now, uh, I can tell you, the more uh, these political parties lose legitimacy, and especially those who are in government, they now have to explain to their funders why they must keep funding them and supporting them. Because if you lose legitimacy, that raises a lot of issues with your funders as well. That, hey, man, now you are putting us in a position, you're going to make us look bad and all of that. So you see, you create that legitimacy crisis. That's the kind of crisis you need to create. Yeah, the streets also has its place, to protest so that you remind them that, hey, we are still here. But mostly, you must hit them. That's the checkmate. Create a legitimacy crisis, mobilize the people around the law, and you will see when. You will see how the dominoes just fall all over the place.
I want to say
All right. Okay,
something
Mark.
quick.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, about Ukoba. I absolutely agree in terms of the legitimacy aspect, because what I feel like everybody has a role in this. Ojansinta Ophakelwa Umsakathi ongizwe, and each and every one of us expressing our opinions and putting pressure on the government. It has a role, and I don't think I understand the sentiments of wanting Ujansinta for president and all these guys. or March and March for president. But in the future, the problem is going to rise on the legitimacy factor if those same guys are appointed as the president or in any political spaces. There's always going to be that issue. We've seen it time and time and again. But if we have someone who's going to play the political game, not necessarily involved in the March and March directly, but who share their sentiments and share their policies and listens to them, and that it creates a pathway, a way for legitimacy, so that that person cannot be challenged whatsoever. So I appreciate the March and March, and I also don't want it to be this whole political movement. You already made that mistake with the ANC, and we already made that mistake. So we cannot repeat the same mistakes that we have made. So now it's time for us to educate ourselves, know the law, and really think about it. Okay, this movement, it's a movement, and it's for the people, by the people who have had enough and want to express themselves and is sick and tired. Let it be that. Let's not put people in spaces or roles that they were not designed for, because they are already doing what their role entails, which is inciting people to rise up, march, speak against the issues that we are all facing, speak against the illegal immigration, which is the main problem here. And for some reason, we're running away from the main issue. Why is everything happening? Why is this happening in the first place? People just skip that part altogether.
Yeah.
So let people play their role. Let us play our role. Our vote could count, depending on which people that we deem fit to push it further into the constitution and into a legal you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you understand what I'm saying, though. But
all right, let me read
and
chats because I think it's interesting. So Simon or Simone, I think it's Simon. Why are you spreading misinformation? The 600 million isn't to fight South Africans. It's the cost of police mass mobilization. It's the cost to the deployment of police resources aimed to combat July 21. I'm not sure what you mean there, July 21. Are you talking about the July unrest in was it 2021 or 2022? I'm not sure. But then maybe I'm sure if you go on X or Twitter and you don't even need to watch the whole news. You can even go on YouTube. It's whether SAPS or ENCA or Newsroom Africa. Listen again. Listen to the people, the police minister and minister of the army or whatever, and hear what they say. You're gonna hear them, telling you what the 600 million is for, And then there was a question here: who are we voting for in 2026 and 2028? Personally,
Someone else besides the NC,
as long as it's not the NC, it's not the EFF, and it's not the DA. You take your pick, bruh. With these political parties in South Africa, bro, you can create like 50.
Oh, a new DM.
Yeah, and IFP, UDM, ANC. The mainstreams, the ones that have been there for years. No change.
Not voting for those.
The DA was preaching all this good talk and all this. We're gonna separate the states and politics. We're gonna and look at them now. they're in there in the GNU and they work and they're defending this president. You know what I mean? They're all there in together. They're all working together. The Minister of Home Affairs is a TA guy.
Lindo,
Yeah,
we,
showcase.
we, we need to address that question. There's someone who says we're spreading misinformation here. I think that's
I think they were
it's
talking
not a
about the
small.
600 million.
Yeah, you see, that's not a simple thing. See, if you're going to say we're spreading misinformation, then we are gonna have to respond to that. That's very important to respond to. Just bring up that message again. Let's just look at this thing. You know, so there's the video we just watched. We are not saying the acting minister of police said this and this. We played the clip of him speaking, right? We can all agree. We played the guy was talking himself. He was explaining 600 million is being deployed for this. We didn't speak for it, right? So I don't think we can be accused of spreading misinformation. So it says why spreading the 600 million isn't to fight South Africans. It's the cost of police mass mobilization. Is the cost of deployment of police resource aimed at to combat July 21. Look, man, there's nothing that says this is July 21. If they're talking about the July unrest that happened a few years ago, we don't. There is nothing that can say, like, unless you're gonna show evidence of why you say what happened in the July unrest is the same as March and March. You know what I mean? And Nakona, if you're saying this is not being deployed to fight South Africans, it's being deployed for what is it? Mass police mass mobilization. Yeah, to do what? You see, it's being deployed because they're saying they're responding to the what they call the threats for the end of this month. I mean, let's not try to. I don't think there's a point here. To be honest, that's what I'm saying. We're
That's why
not
I said
spreading
maybe they
misinformation.
should go back and watch the videos for
Yeah,
themselves.
exactly, because it's there, and they even saying, look, we're not acting necessarily on any kind of intelligence that we have that is telling us anything. It's just that we just want to make sure nothing happens. That's basically what they said. You understand? So it is 600 million effectively that you can say is being mobilized against South Africans who are raising concerns. And that's why I was saying my advice would be don't do anything end of this month. Let them deploy the resources, but don't show up. Make
Also
another
answer
plan
this
for them.
one.
Yeah.
Like on that note, answer again. Pubalan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right. Excuse me if I'm not, but I'm just gonna call you Poo. So yeah, also respond to Poo because I think the other one is saying it's in the 600 million is misinformation, but then the next person is saying, so are they using our money to fight us?
I mean, one can interpret it that way, because if the 600 million comes from tax, it's our money, and if that is being directed to state security to clamp down on protest of South Africans, then yes, our money is being used to fight us. If you follow that logic, you know what I'm saying? You follow that logic, it follows that yes, effectively our money is being used.
Okay, there's another comment by the same person saying it's the same thing. Even if they use, I guess you meant to say even if they use it to deploy security, it also means indirectly this is to secure the illegals from South Africans.
Well, I mean, you can argue that logic can also follow that, the deployment would be that you mustn't hurt these people. You understand? Yeah, you can draw those conclusions. I think, of course, politicians can always find a way to spin this in any which way, but I would want to hear an argument against that. It seems to make sense.
And also, they say don't ever vote for those pensioners.
No, but it sounds funny, man. It sounds funny, but
But it's cooking. Oh, she's cooking. I'm not sure.
I'm not a person who is ageist, if there's such a thing,
Ageist.
like who's just
there might be a thing, bro. I mean, so many words are being created every day.
Yeah, I'm not a person who's too much about age. It's just that from what I've observed, people who are at an advanced elderly age and may not necessarily have that fire that we spoke about, to do what needs to be done. And oftentimes they have too much to lose and all that. And really, they don't have a real investment in the future, and anyway, if they've collected enough wealth for themselves, they don't even need to have an investment in this country. They can live anywhere in the world. But ordinary South African citizens don't have any of those luxuries. You see that? So it ends up being, I lose my train of thought now. What was I speaking to again?
Okay, on that point, let me play a last video. Maybe it will come back. I think this is the funniest video I've seen so far during this whole thing. I'm hoping it's gonna make you guys laugh like it did me. I didn't even finish the video.
Let me say my goodbyes, gentlemen. I'm out of time now. It was nice being with you all, guys. See you tomorrow.
Or we can't even stay for 10 minutes. Because we're gonna close it very soon now. You can't stay for 10 minutes.
Okay, let's see it before I leave.
All right. So I hope this is gonna make you laugh like it made me laugh.
Let's see what happens.
I want to hear you say thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, maybe I'll stay. Let's see how funny the video is. Then I'll stay for 10 minutes, man.
Okay, I'm playing it now.
I want to hear you say thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
We see the good thing you're doing.
We see the good thing you are doing.
And we are just pleading to fast track it.
And we're just pleading to fast track it.
Now that is a valid message.
I tell Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you, President.
Thank you for what?
Thank you for what?
Malawi's government are steadily taking their people home. Zimbabweans are steadily taking their people home. Mozambicans are steadily taking their people home. Our people are asked to leave their homes and come here to be lifted. They sold the little things they have. Their house rent here is monthly. It's not like Nigeria where you pay yearly. They pay house rent here monthly. And so people have told their landlord, bye-bye, I'm not renewing my rent. And they have moved, only to be stranded here. And then you're telling us to thank the government of Nigeria. Why would we thank Mr. Tinubu?
Thank you, President.
For what? They ask people to come out. Even if you have not asked Nigerians to come out, we'll find our way.
Yeah.
But you ask us to come out on winter, women and children on winter, and they are here stranded. And the politicians are there in Nigeria, arguing and satisfying themselves. And these people are left here with no hope. And you are telling us to tell Mr. President, thank you. What are we thanking you for? We sent you to go and do the job there. And if you feel that you can't do the job, resign. So that somebody who can do the job will fix Nigeria. A small country like South Africa is holding us ransom because our government does not know what they want. So if Tinubu cannot fix Nigeria, which we have seen, he can't fix Nigeria at home, he cannot help Nigeria on the diaspora. So why do we say we have a government? Then he should resign and allow people who can be able to, because he begged to apply. He said, please elect me and I'm going to save Nigeria. You are elected and you are doing nothing. Plane that has been arranged and people have left their home. Then we are stranded here and you're telling us to thank you for making us to be stranded. Whereas other African countries are already taking their people home.
I mean, yeah, that was it. So we can just touch up, say apparently, okay, I guess just for context, Nigerians, and I think they went to like the embassy in Pretoria or something, and then they volunteering, some of them, not all of them, because it's small numbers compared to the Malawans and whatnot. So I guess they very not satisfied about, I guess, their government and whatnot. Well, it's good and bad. It's good that it's showing even South Africans that perhaps maybe think that everything is rosy everywhere else and whatnot. Whereas these countries, bruh, Nigeria, Ghana, and whatnot, like I was even shocked hearing him say they pay rent yearly, bruh. I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? But then those are the issues they face. And then one thing that he said as well, he said that they are told from wherever they come from to come here and I guess to be lifted. I think he said something like that, to be lifted here. You know, I'm curious to know who told them to come here to get lifted, but it's fine. So let me just read these chats and then we're gonna say last few words and then we can call it. So Pooh, Jacinta, in general are the only ones that have the balls to stand up to these dementia old age pensioners running our country. Yeah, man. I mean, credit to her, man. I mean, credit to her, man. It's not an easy thing, man, because if you throw yourself in these things, bro, you face scrutiny, slander, all these things, bro, that are gonna make you look as if you're like a horrible person to even to some of the people that you knew from since you were young. They'll be like, we don't know this person, we never saw this from her. There'll be videos of her from her old life circulating, and then people saying this, that, and the other. You know how it works. And then KZN looks like a shithole with these illegal immigrants. Well, they're everywhere. Basically, South Africa, I guess, looks like a shithole because they're everywhere. So yeah, guys, you can comment on the video you saw if you want to, or you can say your last words. It's fine. Anything you want.
Just last words or last thoughts is that these people really are so shameless in their hypocrisy that they don't even know their left from right. These people, they know exactly why they're coming to South Africa, because the same thing that we are complaining about here in our own country, they are also complaining about it in their own country, and then they are bringing their own shit here in our country. Now we have to deal with our own stuff and deal with their own stuff. So we are being burdened with all of these problems that are not ours to bear, to be fair. And now, I saw this video of this guy, South African guy, who went to visit Nigeria. He was appalled. He was appalled with this is how these people live. You can't even drink from a tap. You have to have a plastic bag of water. They sell it there. You can't drink water from public places. Sanitary, being clean is a pipe dream. And they are bringing that dysfunctionality in our country. Just look at that guy. He's hysterical. He's crazy. And I had to generalize, but we have to be honest. They're all like that.
That's true, Paul.
They are all like that. They are dysfunctional, hysterical people. And they are bringing their own problems in our back doors. Pause. Something needs to change. Come on, focus, man.
So, yeah, I hear you, brothers, and I hear your frustrations. But again, be careful of things like all of them are like that. So these are the traps. I know it seems nitpicky, but these are the traps that will be used. But anyway, what I saw there, it's good because this is the argument I started with all along in this conversation. That my frustration is that the whole of Africa, in terms of leadership, has failed. All African citizens have been betrayed since the founding of the Organization of African Unity that gave us these independent states in Africa. They have failed African citizens. They have not held anyone accountable and so on. So that is exactly where I started my engagement in this. I didn't even start in immigration. I started at the failure, high level, at a high level view, failure of African leadership in general. Then we come to these issues now, which are just symptoms of all of that failure. You see that? And the guy in the video, that's what he's talking about. I think he's revealing the crux of the matter. This is the crux of the argument that, hey, man, you guys, first of all, just look at how the Nigerian government approaches its citizens. Thank the president for his
Imagine, bro. I
benevolence.
was just about to mention that, bro. It's like a song, bro. You see this person like, and then they all singing along. It's
So do
like,
you
what's
see?
happening here?
So this is how politics has been made religious in Africa. This is the religification, if there's such a thing, of politics. Because that thing of making people repeat things, those are church cultures. You understand? Those are religion things. You understand? To make people repeat those things like that. Why would you do that with the head of state? We don't do that with the head of state. I've never seen any. I'm talking about now in best practice international in terms of how states govern themselves. Unless you are religious nuts like the Trump administration or something. And while I'm still on Trump, guys, I must repeat, don't use the United States or the UK or any of those guys as examples. Don't put yourself in parallel with them. You'll lose. They are not liked. Those are not good examples. Find others. But the issue is, you understand, that guy, his frustration and his complaint. Actually, you must keep that clip, Lindo. That is evidence and proof that I was right. The issue is African leadership failing to hold each other accountable, and not failing by mistake, but it seems deliberate. They don't want to, for whatever political reason. So as citizens, we must look at this as the proof. Because now the guy complains, he's like, why should we thank you for all of this? You're crazy. I mean, other countries are coming to get their people, and now you're telling us to thank our president, and then he says, if Tinubu cannot govern well, he must resign, and they must get someone who can govern. That is the conversation I want. I want African citizens from other countries to say to their governments, you guys are useless. The same way here in South Africa, we are saying, you guys are useless.
Yes.
That's how you start to get real change now. So now we are going to shift the conversation to say, yes, Africans, this is the conversation we're supposed to be having. All of our countries must be governed well, and they must be governed by law. And everyone must be accountable.
Because there's huge potential, bro.
Yeah, so starting from the head of state, the politicians, everyone, the citizens, law, no one must be above the law. If we all push and put pressure on that point, we may well see some change in South Africa and in the rest of Africa. This guy has given us good ammunition. So we must keep that limbo for future engagements or proof or whatever. That is crucial evidence to show that we are right in saying all of us must fight for our countries.
Yes, I totally agree, because when I saw that video, it was very funny because I heavily related it to the situation in South Africa, bro. Because this is what they do. They go out there on these podiums, they say these things, and then there's a bunch of people wearing, you know, those political t-shirts, singing along, you know, agreeing to everything and whatnot. And then going back to this march and march thing, well, like, I even don't like the fact that this has been summed up as a march to march thing, because it's a illegal immigration crisis. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be pinned, you know, to just one thing and whatnot, because it's an issue that South Africans as a whole are facing, you know. So, but then my point that I want to make is that you see this government official speaking as they're speaking, like, oh, we should thank the president, this, that, and the other. On the flip side, you see an actual person that is affected by whatever that they're doing, and you see the response that comes from him. Similar to us, the government is saying all these things that they're saying, but then the citizens of this country are saying something, saying, no, what do you mean? What are you talking about? A new dawn? What new dawn? Is this the new dawn you were talking about when you were campaigning? Is this the new dawn? You know, so all these things, bro. Like, it's crazy how the citizens of the country can say something else and then the government say something else. So whose government is this? Whose government is this, bro? But okay, fine. Regardless, I'm gonna read these last few chats, and then I think we're gonna have to call it. You know. So Julius, Julius just made me think of Julius. Get out from politicians. If you love this country, love yourself, not politicians. If you vote for the party which has someone who loves this country as you, not politicians. They don't love. Okay, I think maybe if I'm trying to get what you mean, you're saying that people must stay true to themselves and vote for the parties that actually represent them and their interests, and what perhaps maybe can make this country a better place. And I do agree with that, you know. And then Gordon, I hope you're not sipping on some Gordons there. NC are in for a rude awakening come the 30th of June. Ha 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 ha. We see you. Yeah, 100%. They in for a very rude awakening because, hey man, a lot of things will happen, man. You know, but I do think also you're gonna see the truth about South Africa. You're gonna see people going out, you know, behaving very well and focusing on the main issue. Because already you can see the government has no hope on South African people. They've shown you. They have no hope, you know, along with some other behind the scenes reasons why they're doing this. But really, they have no hope on South Africans whatsoever, to the point where they're willing to sell South Africans as these vigilantes and phobics and whatnot. And then they're the same people that are going to tell you, this is costing South Africa of tourism. You know, I mean, it's crazy. They're the ones spreading this misinformation. But then at the same time, they're the ones complaining that, I mean, this is crazy, bruh. Like, when I actually think about it, this is like, yo, bruh, I don't even want to use narcissistic, because at least narcissistic, you know, you don't actually have to be crazy. You just have to be full of yourself. You know, these people are bipolar, bruh. They're so crazy. They create the problem themselves. The problem that no one knows. And then they go out complaining about the problem. It's like, hey, when did we get here? I mean, I was not invited to this party, but I didn't know. I didn't know none of this. So, again, back to your point, Governor Masenga, we should not buy into these tactics, bruh, because at the end of the day, the focus is the main issue, man. I mean, I forgot what I had to say, but yeah, I'm improvising. You know, because at the end of the day, bruh, the more we engage in these topics or conversations they want us to engage in, they win. You know, we should stand firm on what we are actually fighting for or believe in or want this country to be, because they're gonna put us off track, you know. And then once we start mentioning all these things that they want us to mention, or we speak the way that they want us to speak, the reason why they bring Jacinta and all these people on SAPC Newsroom Africa, they're waiting for that slip. You know, they're gathering in evidence so that they can get all those videos and whatnot, and they say, you see what they said there, you know. So we must all be careful, bro, because you saw the video that we played. They don't have footage of South African protesters causing any harm. The only footage that they have is Malawans attacking the police, and they just glossing over it, and they calling those people South Africans. They are the same news that published this thing, and they're the same people that are saying those are South Africans. Mind you, nothing has been said about that in terms of whatever legal obligation or whatever, you know, whatever accountability that those people have to face for attacking. Try attacking a police officer right now and see what happens. Try attacking and not even lay your hand. Just say some foul stuff, you know. Just say something that, you know, is far left or whatever. Say something that is, you know, not gonna sit right in their ears and whatnot. It doesn't even have to be anything that has anything to do with anything that is legal or illegal. As long as they're not feeling you, you're gonna get it, bro. You know, South African police are not like Americans or whatnot. They're not gonna shoot and kill you. They're gonna beat you up. You're gonna live to think about it tomorrow. You know, you'll be like, damn. You know, what happened to me, man? Like, you know, so yeah, man. So last comment, guys, we can't vote for a party because of their nice colors or feelings. Go on the party's website and read the policies. If they don't follow up with the policies, then hold them accountable. 100% agree, Tidy. 100%. Exactly. Because, like, this happened in real life. You know, like, I had a conversation some time ago with a student, you know, while I was still a student as well, when I was just going against the EFF, because, like, I'll be like, no, man, these people, when they talk about Pan-Africanism, they don't talk about Pan-Africanism. They talk about allowing people to come into this country. I don't know if that's Pan-Africanism, you know, but I don't think it is. You know what I mean? So they've added their own definition.
I've already corrected that one, Lindo. You remember, right? In previous conversations, the people can go back and check. I think I've settled that one.
Yes, we had that conversation, you know.
Yeah.
So they do this a lot. And I'm saying, do you know the policies of these people? We even did a video with Venus the other day where Meg G was shocked as well on his podcast. It's like, in looking at the policies of the EFF, and it's like, wow, they actually on their policies advocate, whether documented or undocumented. You know, it's written there. I can't really quote it right now. But then I remember we did a show about that as well. They advocate for it. They do not care, because to them, they play this Africa We Are One card, you know?
So Lindo, for this platform, and I must thank you for setting up this platform for us to talk about these serious things instead of talking nonsense all the time. You know what I mean? A podcast should not end up just being for nonsense. We need to think.
Like celebrity gossip and whatnot, you know?
We must talk. So I'm glad you've set this up and you've been consistent, you know, doing these lives.
Shout out.
Shout out, Mpetu. So, but let's, like I said, let's make this an educational platform, like you're saying. Let's have episodes where we go over policies, you know, where we go over issues of the law around voting, you know, go around, like I said, civic education, those kinds of things. I think let's make this platform that space where, you know, people can get informed, you know, they can find out information, you know, actual data, you know, things like that, so that we can have sort of an educational space, you know, for citizens to better understand, you know, their country, their state, and their rights, more importantly, you know. so that when we come to these people,
Thank
because
you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
so we have to and allow, of course, the audience to also engage with us. You know what I mean? It's such an
100%.
important space that you've created here, so we must focus on the law, those kinds of things, the constitution and everything. I think that's going to help out a lot of people so that they can also make informed decisions. I think also beyond just reading the policies, I think the person was talking about the policies and the website. They also mentioned holding accountable, and you must read the policies. You must listen to the person's speeches and everything, and really think about it. Does it make sense from what they are saying? Because what they say to you should not be to repeat their policies. They should be telling you what their plan is, how they're going to do what they're
Yeah.
going to do. What's the project plan? What are your timelines? What are the outcomes that we must expect? You know what I mean? If you don't have any
100%.
measurable deliverables that have been laid out, you can say anything. You can say, I will do this, I will do that. But as soon as you tie it to a project plan, show us what's your plan actually. What resources will you need? What are the outcomes we can expect? So now you see, you bring the person to think. Someone says, no, we'll get you land. Oh, okay, great. So what's the plan? I'm on board, but what's the plan? Okay, get me land. Okay, let's say you get me land. What then after that? What? So you see, you need to get these politicians to answer you, not repeat what they've written in their manifestos. No, that's the what. Now, when they talk to you, they're telling you the how. So your manifesto says this and this. How are you gonna do this thing, Faith? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Exactly. So, and also, last point. Make sure you see, one of our biggest challenges in South Africa or in any political system, actually globally, people have a very short memory. They forget. They forget so quickly. And that's why I'm glad you went and dug up from the archives, the things that these politicians have said in the past, which is
Yeah.
contradicting them now. Look, the clearest sign of a liar is when your own words are contradicting you, and you have no real explanation that makes sense for how you went from that position to your current position. And if it doesn't make sense, the logic is off. Then we know, we're not dealing. This one is not make sure. This one that we are dealing with here, no, no, no. There's a problem there. Someone who says this today, tomorrow they flipped, and then they flipped again. I know. Then that's a legitimacy crisis. You understand? So you must always keep. That's why I said keep archives. And I like that
Yeah,
you've kept the
100%.
archives. Gaten McKenzie. I mean, Gaten McKenzie cannot come to us and say he didn't say those things. He said those things. The footage is there. You understand?
It's there,
So you can't
but it's
say,
not
you can't,
AI, bro.
you can't even say we're slandering you. Even the clip where Gaten McKenzie said black people are lazy, it's there, that thing. We ain't gonna forget, and we are gonna archive all that stuff. You understand? All of that stuff is there.
Yeah.
And you see, even I was actually thinking about this thing, thinking about what's happening in America right now, where because the Trump administration has lost so much legitimacy, now the people are being sold on Obama now again. Now they are
Yeah, I
forgetting their
saw
grievances.
that. I did.
So now they are forgetting their grievances with Obama. That, hey man, so now the system is shifting their attention. So now they've completely forgot all the issues that they had with Obama. They forgot that Obama is the same guy who took out Gaddafi. Him and Hillary
Imagine.
Clinton. And they laughed about it.
Imagine.
So they,
Imagine,
so
bro.
so now you
Hey.
see, now Obama is like, oh, we missed you. So now they are playing the politics of emotionalism. Oh,
Going back to
no,
that short memory thing,
we've been in hell so long. Oh, you are such a drop of water in the desert. so
Oh my
this
God, he's opening
this
a
is
library.
this is the game that the system will continue playing you. You're like a football. The other
Facts.
day, it's a pass to the Republicans. And then the Republicans but take a baller. They take you, and then they pass back. That no, Shimpetu will come back second half. And you keep saying this, keep staying in that cycle. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
my point being, listen carefully to everything these politicians say. Archive, keep the record. Tomorrow, when he says something that sounds inconsistent, go back and look at the evidence to say, yeah, this doesn't sound like the thing you've been saying all along. So you're able to track to say, I can't trust you. Yeah, what? So keep those things as well. That was my point.
Yeah, and also the people, they don't even have to listen to these people. You can just go to the ANC website, read the policies, and then you can hear this person speaking. You're like, bruh, I don't see this in the policies of the ANC. So what are you talking about? Because now the manifesto, the policy is everything. It's written down there. It was not by mistake. It was approved. You're all sat together and said, okay, guys, this is our policies. To the point where you all approved it and say, okay, you know what? Graphic designer, web designer, whatnot. Here, we're ready now. To the point where it's all yellow, green. Yeah, they know those words. They wrote them. And they go out and they say something else because they know what will rile the people up, you know. And unfortunately, there are those people that do get riled up. You know what I mean?
And remember, they are counting on your ignorance. See, they are
100%.
counting on the citizens to be ignorant. That's why I'm saying, let's use this platform to educate ourselves and each other.
100%.
So that we are tight. We are tight. When they try to escape this way, you're like, no. There is this law. What are you saying here? What about this policy? You know what? Don't give them any room. You know, trap them in. We need to trap them in.
And don't celebrate them. We shouldn't be celebrating these people. These people are our employees. They work for us. You know what I mean? So you shouldn't be seeing this person and be like, oh my God,
Lindo, that's why these are not celebrities. These are public servants. Right? Public servant. That's why I was so surprised that the Nigerian ambassador is visiting the people. Thank you, Mr. President. Like he's the king. No, presidents are not kings. Presidents, heads of state are not the same as kings. There's no when I went over there. It's not. There's not the same context. President, head of state in a democratic state where we vote is very different. We are not obliged to worship you or anything. I saw Ramaphosa, you know, in a video. I don't know if it was you playing it, and he was visiting this other family. And the way the old woman, they were so happy to receive him. You know, I was like, and then, you know, the children were there. They didn't seem so interested, but they didn't seem like they know how to speak for them. I was like, man, you come to my home, we're going to have a serious talk. You know, we're going to have to talk serious politics, you know. I'm not going to get excited that, oh, the president is here today. Oh, no, Mr. President, we need to talk. I have questions. You know what I mean? I have serious questions. No, I ain't celebrating you showing up. Our country's a mess, man. Maybe I would celebrate you if you were a hero. You ain't no hero.
They need to take orders from now. The moment you see me, like, hey, this is what I want to happen in this country, bruh. You know,
exactly.
They shouldn't be sitting comfy and then feeling they're on top of the world and whatnot. No.
We must stop making these guys
accountable every chance we get.
Yeah, we must stop treating these guys like royalty and celebrities. They are public servants, bottom line. And then we have the public protector, not the president's protector, the public protector. So we must bring back the proper context to all these words and what they mean. In a constitutional democracy, we must fight. They are the ones who gave us these laws. They drafted all these institutions and everything. Let's use them. Let's test them.
Yeah.
Let's put them to the fire. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, Pooh is cooking today, tonight at this point, or this afternoon. You know, it's about to be 8 anytime now. So, guys, thank you, Pooh. I mean, you've been cooking tonight. I mean, you're the MVP. So, guys, please make sure that you like, you subscribe, you comment, you stay locked in. Let's grow this platform. This is our platform, guys. We're gonna try whenever we can to have like a live call-in at some point where we just drop the link on the on the live chats, and then whoever who feels like, you know, there's something to say, but probably we're going to be able to maybe just bring up one at a time and whatnot, and then the person can say whatever they say. There's no plan for that right now, but it's an idea, and then as soon as it's possible, we're going to make it happen, because this is our platform as a whole, all of us. This is a South African conversation. You know, we need to unite as a country, because they're betting on us being divided. You know what I mean? That's what they want. You know, what does it mean that our goal is safety and whatnot, whatever that guy said? What do you mean, bro? What is our goal then? What is our goal? You know, but okay, fine. So guys, thank you so much for everyone who was watching, guys. You know, we really appreciate you. Paul says something, the ANC is designing our country to live in charity. Hey man, I wish the charity was for us, you know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, guys, thank you everyone. You know, thank you to everyone.
As they say, charity begins at home.
Charity begins at home, bro. You know, thank you to the panelists, you know, with the insightful, you know, thoughts and comments and opinions. You know, thank you to the chat, everybody that had something to say. You know, we value everyone, you know, whatever. Oh, cheers. Yeah, Tiny. I mean, Tidy. I'm sort of tidy. Yeah, man. Shout outs to you, man. Thank you, guys, everyone. So please stay locked in, and tomorrow we're coming back again. You know, look for us at 5. You know, we might be earlier than 5, but our time slot is usually 5 to 7. But sometimes we do start early, and then sometimes, you know, there is that element of Bantu time that we do need to kill as well. You know, as a nation. You know, but you know, we do Bantu time by 5-10 minutes at most, because of, you know, people are doing other things as well. So, you know, with traffic on the roads and whatnot, you might not get it the designated time at home and whatnot. So, but more often than not, we're gonna be on time always. So yes, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Shompetu, Shabafit. Thanks.